Jesse came down to Albert Lee.
Jesse did. He loves you guys.
We love him.
I know. We all love Jesse. But he's not here today. Welcome back to Truth Hurts, where we expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. I am so excited about the show today because I have two heroes in studio. What? Don't give me that look. Don't give me that. I know you guys are modest. Jane Moss from East Grand Forks.
Yep.
For those that don't know, that's not there's Jane Moss. I should have probably. Did I even introduce you to the two?
No, I didn't get any introduction.
Oh, how bad am I? How bad am I? He went to Lisa first because I didn't even make the introductions. Jane Moss here in the black shirt or black dress. Is it technically a dress, Jane?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Does it have pockets?
No, it does
I know
not.
women like pockets on their dresses. Comes down from East Grand Forks. That's 5 hours away. And Lisa Hanson. I was going to say the felon, but you weren't a felon.
Not actually a felon.
Are you a felon?
No, not
a
actually.
felon. Okay, I was going to say gross misdemeanor.
No, just misdemeanor.
So what do I call you? A former prisoner? Political prisoner. That's what I got to call you.
Yeah, political prisoner.
That's right. Remember how I used to tease Larvita about the orange jumpsuit, and you ended up in the orange jumpsuit.
I actually got the orange. Yeah, Larvita didn't get to do that.
No, she didn't. There's a really interesting story about Larvita. Did you hear about the work farm threat?
Yes.
That's crazy because Larvita's a black woman, and they talked about putting her on a work farm. I'm like, you mean against her will and force her to work? Like, I don't know, slavery? What, for opening her business during COVID? This is crazy. I'm sorry. Our guests today were heroes during COVID tyranny. They opened up their businesses in defiance of Governor Tim Walz. Now, if you're not from Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz, very awful person. See, this was the problem that I had. A lot of governors thought good leadership is being tyrannical. Now, a guy like me that served time in the military, I know that's not good leadership. When you have to bark orders, tell people what to do, that's not good leadership. Good leadership is getting people to do the right thing because they're part of a team. Walz doesn't take that approach, okay? And there's a lot of reasons for that. Personally, I could go into that. But that's what he did. He shut down our businesses, not once, but twice. And that's how we got to your guys' case. Also, reading your comments at home, let us know where you're watching from, is the lovely Bridget. How you doing there, Bridget?
Doing excellent.
What's the smile about there? What's so funny?
Because my heart was racing from driving fast.
You could have been a couple minutes late. I would have teased you on air when you weren't
okay.
here, but you didn't need a. Did you break the speed limit?
Well, I'm not going to say that on air.
And they put you in jail? I can't believe this. Unbelievable. Not following the speed limits.
I never said that, Jake. You're putting words in my mouth.
All
but
right.
anyways, we have Tucker here. Brad Ganser says, proud of these ladies. It's lovely. Says, hey, Lisa, I sent you a Christmas card. Every day you were in jail, you were a warrior and a hero.
Oh,
Jerry.
Thank you.
We were just talking about that
Thank
before
you.
and all the cards you were getting.
Those letters and cards really
Yep.
kept me going.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Run the dials as Deep State Dawson, the guy behind COVID.
That's what I did. That was me.
It was a deep state operation. I mean, in some regards, you have to look at the medical industrial complex or the health system.
Oh, Brad Ganser, $20. Tough Chick Criminal Defense Fund. That's nice.
Oh.
So does that mean we're obligated to put that towards a defense fund here? Can I use that? Can I use that to buy them a drink tonight? Well, Brad, you got to now I have to start a criminal defense fund. Brad Ganser's Rumble rant is already screwing us.
Wait a minute. If he's talking about starting a criminal defense fund, should we be concerned?
Yeah, actually, what are you trying to say? Or is he talking about paying the speed tickets for Bridget here? I don't know what Brad Ganser's doing there. Well, thanks. If you guys want to be a part of the show and interrupt us anytime, Rumble rants. Otherwise, we'll try to read your comments. You can be a part of the conversation. Make sure you like and subscribe, whatever platform you're watching on. I kind of think you should be watching on Rumble. I think, actually, YouTube might take this down. We might get into too much truth on COVID, right?
I wouldn't do it.
It could happen.
Yeah, they're still doing that. I think they stopped doing election-related stuff. But, yeah, I think COVID, they're still doing it. So, because, I think we got taken down. Well, basically, anytime MAGA Jesse fills in for me, we got a strike. So, apparently, he's more hardcore. The last medical misinformation YouTube ban that we had was when I had Neil Shaw on there, a doctor who's trained by Mayo. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing YouTube's tech guys know more about the medical industry and vaccines than a trained physician from the Mayo Clinic system. Yeah, I'm going to go with Neil Shaw on that one. but
Yeah.
that's just how they are. That's how they are. So anyhow, let's. I don't even know where to start this one, and I've been so excited to do this. First of all, tonight people can meet you. We're going to be at the Mermaid in Mounds View. So if you guys want, come to the Mermaid in Mounds View. The show starts at 6:30 tonight, and I get to lead a panel with you guys. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today will be there tonight.
We have $20 from K-Wall for Life. It says, just felt like interrupting. Cheers.
Well, there you go. By the way, K-Wall and T-Wall, big fans of the show, came across us. Actually, I think they found Eric Mortensen first during the COVID tyranny. So a lot of our fans came across Action for Liberty when we were fighting these battles. So thank you very much, K-Wall. And Tucker, I guess he says, yeah, beers tonight. I don't know if Tucker's coming up for that.
Beers or cheers.
There you go. I love our fans. The greatest people ever. So, where do we get started here? For people that don't know, Governor Walz does what a lot of other governors did and shuts down the state, locks us in our homes, says you can't do business unless you're essential, right? One Minnesota, but there's essential, non-essential people. And this is March 18th, roughly, of 2020.
St. Patrick's Day. I'll never forget
I'm
it.
sorry. Yes, you're right. St. Patrick's Day, because it closed right about the
Right.
evening. Yeah. How did I forget that? Because my good friend Janice has an Irish pub, and I think I went there during noon hour, and I was like, that's the last
That
one.
was the last one, yep.
Yeah. And so you guys complied with that order. And, of course, at that time, no one knew what the heck was going on, right?
Yep.
Right.
So, I mean, we were supposedly scared out of our minds. And then things start progressing, and by June, was it, we fully opened up again or
Yes.
something like that? Okay. And then
Did we actually fully open?
No, it was 50%.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
And you
50%.
had to keep your tables far enough apart for social distancing. And we actually opened up outside on our deck,
Oh, yeah.
and we still had to follow all the rules of the masking and the gloves and
And what's the science behind COVID spreading outdoors? Like, there's really
it
almost
was
no cases traced
yeah.
to spread outdoors.
made no sense.
Well, do you guys remember the I think it was like a surfer or like a not sailboarder, what's that? Paddleboarder in the ocean in California
Oh,
gets
yes.
Yes.
arrested on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah. Like literally couldn't find a more healthy thing to do during COVID, getting sun,
Right.
vitamin D, outdoors, right?
Well, that's when I truly felt like, okay, there's something more going on than COVID. I mean, it just made no sense. If people really use their common sense,
Yeah.
and we're outdoors, and you're supposed to wear a mask, and you're wearing these gloves, and nobody's changing them out, you know. So that's when it really hit me that, no, I can't continue to do this.
So we went 50%, and at some point things seemed to get normal, but then they instituted a mask mandate in August, statewide mask mandate. And it wasn't until November of 2020, cases started going up, and Governor Walz did the same thing again. He shut down businesses first, and I remember this. And people don't think this happened. They forgot about this. He banned dart throwing. Do you remember that?
He
Because you
banned
probably
what?
got darts at Boardwalk. Dart throwing.
Oh, see, we don't have that. So
I thought you would have had
no,
darts.
we
Okay.
didn't have darts.
Okay.
So no, I didn't know he did that.
Yes, he
know
look,
that either.
you guys at the heart of the matter. He banned dart throwing. We couldn't believe. We actually thought about doing a fundraising event where we would create dartboards with Walz's face in the middle. So the idea was that you would gather around near each other and throw darts. And then you probably remember this. It was like you had to close by 10 p.m. or something like that.
Yes. Yep.
Because apparently people would get too inebriated and then they would
Yeah.
not follow the masking
Right.
and all that stuff.
They breathe on each other. And,
Right. Yeah. Because the masks do so much.
Yeah.
Masks. This is how it works, right? I'm not joking. I went to a wedding in November 2020, super spreader event in hindsight, and so it's all in one. It's like this room in Stillwater, top room up upper deck or whatever, and so they wanted everyone a mask for the whole ceremony. Bride and groom didn't have to. They made an exception for that, and I think the presiding minister. Everyone else had to mask. Ceremony's done. You get up, walk 25 feet to the bar. There ain't a mask really. Science! It works. It's just how it goes, right? We're all wearing masks, and then all of a sudden we were having our drinks, and we don't need to wear masks anymore.
Right.
And you still see the people, and you know how they vote, right? They're doing one of these things. They're the same people that wear masks alone in the car. I
Yes.
can't believe that is still a
Yes.
thing. I still run into
I
that.
still see it.
You know, Bridget, if you weren't going 90 miles an hour on the way here, you probably would have seen a masked person.
Probably.
It's kind of hard. It's just a flash at that speed. So then they start with the darts. They start with 10 p.m. and then fully close. What was that? Right around Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
right
yeah.
before, yep.
And then Walz actually said you couldn't go to anyone else's home
Right.
and so like literally families couldn't see families even if it was outdoors. So and I'm going to tell people how we got involved in this and found you guys. And then I really want to get into your guys' story individually here, and then how you end up in jail, which is fascinating. And this needs to be solved, by the way, because that's why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
As caucus is approaching, we got to make sure that never happens again. But during the second shutdown, we're like, what are we going to do at Action for Liberty to force the hand of Governor Walz? And we had many different things. One was like a rally at the governor's mansion. Okay, this is a minimal thing that we could do. Another one was we backed Eric Mortensen's event. So Mort just got elected. He hadn't even taken an oath of office. And he held a thank you party, backyard party with all the people that helped him on the campaign.
Yep, I remember.
He invited the press. He sent a letter to Governor Walz and Keith Ellison, inviting them to come to his backyard party. Ellison actually responded to him. So they did that, and in defiance of Governor Walz's order, right? And then we're like, we need to go find the victims of this. That's literally our thinking, because that's what the left does so well, is they find the victims, and then they tell that victim story over and over again. Oh, Paul Ryan's going to push your grandma off a cliff, or, you know, if the Tea Party, Jeff Johnson gets in charge, everyone's health care will go away. You know, they use the victim mentality. So we're like, we got to go find some victims. And we never found the victims. The first person we found was Larvita. I was like, oh, she's not a victim. Holy cow. No one wants to mess with her. And somewhere along the way, we end up finding you gals. And it's interesting. It was a lot of ladies, by the way. A lot of ladies leading this effort, right? Which is why I think
Yes.
Brad had the, what did he call them? The
what did he
badass
say?
chicks defense?
Tough chick criminal defense.
Tough chick criminal defense. I love it. So we wanted to find the people that were going to defy the governor's orders, and we were going to tell that story as much as we possibly could. So let's start with you, Jane. You said you were starting to open up your mind on what was going on, that this might be a bigger thing than something more localized to Minnesota. How did you come to the conclusion you were going to defy the governor?
To defy the governor was easy because we were so close to North Dakota, which was wide open. And so it didn't make sense to me that we're literally separated by a bridge. But we were a ghost town in East Grand Forks. And it's not that big of a city, but I'm kind of on Restaurant Row where there's 5 or 6 restaurants along this same street. So there was no traffic. You could see all of the citizens going over to Grand Forks. And right across the river, there's, I don't know how many restaurants and bars, probably 13 I counted in the downtown area. So I just thought, if this is so serious, shut down the border.
Yeah.
You know, you're still letting your community go over there and then come back over here, but I'm the grandma killer, you know. And so when we were able to open in the summer at 50% capacity, and I finally told my employees, I said, don't wear the gloves because it makes no sense, because you're touching everything, and if you're not changing every time you touch something, it's not going to work. Don't
plus COVID doesn't spread by contact, which, you know, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Because my wife included, like, would Clorox bleach all the groceries. That's what everyone was doing. And they knew they knew right away it was aerosol spread.
Right.
But they had us all thinking that that's how it spread, like by
Right.
touch.
And we were outside. I mean, we were
Right.
out on our deck area, outdoors, and supposed to wear masks. And I left it up to my crew. You can wear them if you want. If you don't, it's fine with me. But when it came down to it, when he shut us down again, and we had no notice. Do you remember? I think 2 days notice, maybe.
Maybe.
And maybe you just got a shipment of food, and now they're telling you have to shut down again. Well, what do you do with all that? So we, of course, we donated it to the mission and women's shelter, but it's like, okay, they're trying to destroy us, and I can't allow this to happen. First of all, you're in the holiday season, and I have employees that they're family, and I'm going to take care of my family. And you know what? The reason I think women were so adamant about being the ones open is because we're the nurturers. We take care of our kids. And that was my thought. And I thought, I can't sit by and continue to see this happen where I know that they're not going to have money for the holidays. And right across the river, they're wide open. It truly did not
All the
make
money going over there.
all the
from
money
Minnesota.
going over there. And truly, it was just common sense to me.
Jane, I was at Cornerstone Cafe. We did that after we left East Grand Forks on the way back to the city the next day on our tour. And a waitress said, I didn't know if I was going to be able to buy presents for my kids for Christmas. And she goes, the first day we opened up, I already was able to do that.
Right.
Which I understand because I think I probably tipped $100 every place I went.
People, and I'm so glad that I get to thank the supporters of Boardwalk now, the ones that I wasn't able to thank because I didn't have an address or a phone number, but the support that came from the community and throughout the nation has been phenomenal. I think about these people often because I think without Action for Liberty and the support that we have throughout the nation, that's what, like Lisa said, it's what keeps you going, knowing that there are people, you're going to get the hate and the trollers, and but the support that we had was overwhelming. Of the 4 days we were open, we were packed every night, and it was fun. People were having fun. They could breathe, just to be people.
Well, and I remember, I gotta think how much I want to say here. So I also live by a border of a state, and our flow was much greater because, being East Metro, Twin Cities, it pulled the whole Twin Cities right over to Wisconsin to the point where you couldn't get a table for 3 hours at any Wisconsin joint.
Wow.
So I remember going to a speakeasy in Minnesota. I'm not going to say where. Right? I wish that person would have joined the effort you guys had. These happened all throughout Minnesota. They were quiet. And I went with my little sister. I have a sister who was born when I was in high school. And she had just graduated college. What an experience. Just graduated college during COVID, right?
Right.
And it was like a great moment because you felt normal again. And so doing that tour, that's exactly what we saw was people feeling normal again.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the thing that doesn't get told much here. The devastation that these lockdowns had on people, the mental illness,
Unbelievable.
the substance abuse.
Yeah.
It's like liquor stores are wide open.
Yeah.
It's not good to go grab a bottle of Jack and drink by yourself every night. Now, it's probably not also that healthy to drink. Everything in moderation is fine, okay? But to do it socially, with other people, much better. I don't know
Right.
anyone that would say it's better to drink alone at home every night, right?
Right.
But that's what they encourage. By the way, no church. Churches could not be opened up during COVID lockdowns, but the liquor stores were.
Right.
It just shows the government's priorities.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know. It just was so bizarre that we kept shutting down. And I felt like we shut down more than twice because it went on for so long, the
Right.
times that we had. But and then when you got to open, it was a 2-day notice. So then you're scrambling, trying to get everything put together. But yeah, it was, we lost 26 weddings. We have a banquet facility. And how do you recoup that money?
Right.
And then several, most of them, we probably had 2 that rebooked. They had already gotten married, but they still wanted to have their reception. So that was a big money factor for us, that we lost 26 weddings in that short period of time. And no, it made no sense.
Well, made sense if you knew what they were up to, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yes.
Control.
Right.
Lisa, how did you come across this? I mean, I think we knew about yours during the reopening, but you got really noisy pretty quickly. I think you were starting to do rallies down south. So tell us more about your story.
You know, as we're talking about this and as we've been thinking and preparing or getting ready to come up.
I knew you were going to do that. You're like, what should I prepare for, Jake? I'm like, just tell us the story.
Yeah.
And I was like, Lisa's going to still do stuff.
I know. Well,
she's
Vernon,
got, look at those notes over. No, I'm kidding.
Vern and I were talking on the way up, and actually it's just like there was so much that happened. It's so convoluted. I mean, everything. And for us, it was about 3 years, I suppose, or 2.5 years, whatever, that we were in the thick of it. And so it was, so when the governor first shut us down, we knew that that's not okay. Wait, he can't do that. But because of the unknown, we went ahead and shut down, and that was in March. And then we started looking into things in short order. We said, this isn't right. There's something not right about this. This doesn't feel right. Where's the evidence? We started questioning. And we went through full shutdown, then opened back up 25%, then 50, then 75, and then it went to 100 again in November. So it wreaked havoc on any business that was going through that. My husband owned a sewing machine and vacuum store, sales and service, and that was our mainstay. And I had raised and grown that business with him. So our restaurant was kind of our hobby business, and we had really just everything that we made on that business, we just stuck back into it. And when this happened, we realized to survive, we were having to put our savings back into the business just to keep our doors open. And we did things, we got very creative, I think, like every business owner had to do. We had to get so creative. I mean, you know about that.
Yep.
And you do what you got to do. So we did everything we could possibly do to try to keep our doors open. Unfortunately, we had to lay some of our employees off. That's never good. I had to go back to work there full time plus, and trying to still work at the other business as well. It was crazy. And there was some, a couple good things that came out of it. You mentioned the tips for the servers or for our staff too were enormous. And so I was really glad to see them being taken care of. So we started doing, we had a peaceful protest where we walked down the main street of Albert Lee. A bunch of supporters showed up. That was early on. I don't even know what month that was, but it was cold.
Was that after the shutdown, are you saying?
That was after the shutdown, yeah.
Yeah, because
I
yours
believe
really
it was.
drew into a local movement. Jane, you said you didn't get this call, but you were talking before the show, Lisa, about that infamous call, and I knew what you're talking about because for people that don't know, there was a coalition of businesses. It was somewhere approaching 200, I think, that were going to open up in defiance of the governor. December 9th. Does that sound right? December 19th?
No, I opened December 9th. Everybody else was a week after that.
Week after, okay.
Yeah.
December 16th-ish.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that was like the big reopening day.
Right.
Yes.
And it ended up being about a dozen total, you guys being a few of them. And there's a call that I think scared a lot of people. Tell us about that.
Well, the coalition that we joined, basically, they educated us. They told us, okay, here's what we're doing if you guys want to be a part of it, and here's what to expect potentially. And so we got that call from the AG's office, and
Keith Ellison.
Yeah.
For people that are not from Minnesota, Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Yeah. So we got that call, and it was suggested, how we handle that, and I handled it how it was suggested, because I thought, yeah, that makes sense. And almost everybody, although Jane, I think you did not get that call. I think you said you didn't.
I did not.
Yeah.
Well, we had already been open for 4 days and then shut down because of the stack of paper I got.
Oh, yeah. I remember that stack of paper. Yeah. Wow. I mean, stack of paper.
So they were basically threatening you guys with legal action.
There wasn't much said because I was busy and couldn't. I mean, we're a restaurant, and I'm sorry, I can't take your call. Click.
Yeah. Sorry, government. I'm trying to actually operate a business.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay alive here, and
Sorry, business owner, you're killing grandmas.
Yeah.
By the way, no COVID spread ever diagnosed or traced to any of these businesses. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I guess the funny thing is you can now be criminally charged. At one time, there was supposed to be, an injured victim. There was supposed to be a case of injury. Apparently, you don't have to have that case of injury anymore. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, going back to that call, we got the call. We basically ignored the call. I mean, what are you going to do? But I think it scared a lot of people.
It definitely scared people.
People shut down. We were saying, that let's say it was 200. It was less than 200 that we're going to, reopen with this coalition. But let's say it was 200. And if those 200 businesses had opened and stayed opened, like, some of us were able to do, or we did, and if that had happened, do you think the state could have handled all 200, businesses?
There's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I've always said, my husband and I have always said 200, really, in the whole state of Minnesota, only 200? Mm-hmm. It should have been 2,000 easily,
right.
Easily.
Should have been everybody. And well,
Lisa
Monet, who I was trying to get to join you guys, because, boy, she really got the rough end of this. They really tried making a case of her. She was co-located. Did you guys ever see the Alibi ever go up there?
Yeah.
She had a hopping place. She hit the nail on the head in Lakeville. Yes. Okay. And, you can imagine owning a bar or restaurant in the cities.
Right.
Lots of competition.
Right.
And she was co-located with, I think it was like a microbrewery or brew pub or whatever.
Yeah.
These pretentious assholes, they were full-on left-wingers who just bought into everything the government was saying, was sneering at the people going to that business. I'm just like, what's wrong with you guys? But, well, I digress there. I know why they think that way, because they don't open their minds to other channels of communication. Right. So if you turn on the regular news, you're hearing the COVID counts all day long.
Yeah.
I got a couple more questions, but I don't want to get behind. Do you have any questions here?
We don't have any questions, really. I think actually Brad asked if she got arrested in Iowa, but I think that's probably getting ahead of ourselves.
We'll get into that. I'll try to go a little bit more.
Yeah. Napkin 8 said, I love how Tyrant Walz names his yacht Liberty, which I didn't know he had a yacht named Liberty.
Not a true story.
I was like, is that true?
It's actually fake news.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that was a good satire piece, though.
That'd be funny. Oh, Love Minnesota just did a Rumble rant. $20. God bless these Patriots.
Yes, God bless them. Look at us. I have to buy you gals a drink today.
No kidding.
I even can afford one for your daughter. And what's your daughter's name again?
Christian.
Okay. And Vern. So
there's
with all these Rumble rants here.
Tucker had an interesting comment that's a little bit off topic, but he said that he saw on the news last night they were talking about too much vitamin C can cause heart attacks. And he said, sounds like propaganda to get people sick to be able to lock down again. It's like, what? Too much vitamin C is not possible.
Yeah, that is
really not. It's doesn't your system flush every 30 minutes and you have to keep replenishing vitamin C?
Well, he's referring it's wreaking havoc on the sewage systems. I mean, they'll make crazy things up, right?
They do?
Yeah.
They do. Well, masks. It's interesting. Fauci says masks don't work, and then all of a sudden they work. It's like, and then all of a sudden you should wear two to double your protection. Gosh. Jane, they come after you. Explain how this goes about for people that need a history lesson in the tyranny, or people who might not have known this part of it. What first happens? We played the video of the. Well, you know what? Let's do that real quick, Dawson. I got it on the show notes. This is from. We posted this on Twitter last week. This is a police officer coming into your fully open restaurant in defiance of Governor Walz, giving you the paperwork of the governor's illegal shutdown orders. And I say illegal because our system of government does not allow one person to control private businesses. That's just not our system of government. It's actually in our Constitution. If you guys got your headsets, you can listen to the audio here real quick.
Keep in mind, we can't really hear the audio of this one anyways, but
that's true.
You can try.
But in my job, I cannot. Here's a copy of the executive order. You're well aware you're in violation of it. Please take that. That's your copy. Here's another copy. Page 11 specifically talks about this. It's my understanding someone from this Department of Health will be here to discuss this with you and give services and disorder. You can probably anticipate that the city will be issuing you citations for this thing. That's where we're at. Any questions for me? All right, take care.
Thank you.
Hi, have a seat wherever you like. Perfect, thank you. Where are you from?
All right. First of all, Jane, I mean, you just want to go to your restaurant there. You're so nice. Hi, where are you from? Like, that's what we love, right? So, and obviously, all the patrons that came in there were so happy to be there. What a beautiful environment. Only leave it up to government to screw with that.
Yeah.
But they're handing you Governor Walz's orders again, right?
Correct.
And then they kind of say you're going to hear from the Department of Health. So what happened next?
Well, excuse me. Well, first, the Department of Health came in immediately after we opened. I'm sorry.
Do you need another coffee? Your fifth one for the day?
I know, I'm sorry. I got a tickle in my
I
throat.
put her in a really bad position here. Now, I could make it awkward for you and just wait for you to cough it out. But, I'm a professional now here at hosting a show, Jane, so I'm just going to fill the time with talk.
Can I throw a comment in?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It's lovely. It says, my local bar has a photo of Walz that says, do not serve this man. It's just amazing.
And like I said, we should have done the dartboard walls. That would have raised a ton of money. In fact, we could have had the taverns do it too and raise more money. Maybe all proceeds go to helping the wait staff fund Christmas or something. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm good.
All right, you good?
But the health department came in immediately after we opened. And I asked him at that time, he was handing me a cease and desist order. And I said, are you asking me to tell these people to leave? And he said, I'm just asking you to shut your doors. And I said, but are you asking me, or are you telling me to tell these people to leave? He would never answer the question. And so he put the cease and desist order, but he was so nervous because I don't know if he thought the people were going to attack him, but they were very kind.
We would change government real quick if that's what they always feared. You know what I mean?
Yep. And so I let him post it. People continued to come in, and then the police chief came in and handed me the papers. And so immediately, because I had to answer. But we opened on a Wednesday, and I think I was supposed to respond by Friday to the order. I was supposed to close that night. But I said, well, it's going to take me a while to get through these papers. And then we just immediately, I got a hold of Action for Liberty, and they gave me the name of a constitutional lawyer who then recommended, we were open through Saturday, I believe. And then he just recommended that we close down completely, not to open up again, because I really had every intention to.
Yeah.
But on the advice of the lawyer and my business partner, he didn't want to go through anymore, because he was the one putting out all the money to keep us going.
Yeah. And I understand from the lawyer's perspective, the courts see it that way, which is going to why I think your fate was the way it was. But they see it in a certain way when you're looking like you're trying to comply, even though in my argument, this needed to be a constitutional issue.
Right.
There is a part of the Minnesota Constitution that says a person or an entity of one branch of government can't take the powers of another branch of government. Well, the governors do not have the ability to legislate by themselves. The whole Chapter 12 law that allows anything to be construed as he can just create law or create fiat is ridiculous and unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes they tell you can't argue the Constitution in court, right, Lisa?
Sometimes they tell you that.
So you get in a battle with the Department of Health represented by Keith Ellison and have to fight it in court that way. So you basically shut down, and that's where your battle ended up, right?
Right.
All
We,
right.
we were in court for a year.
Jeez. Yeah, I remember you telling me when the whole thing ended, and tens of thousands of dollars later.
Well, it just, of course, you have to realize you're fighting yourself.
Yeah.
Because your tax money is going to these people
Right.
that want to condemn you. And could my lawyer have fought harder? He gave all the arguments, and I thought he did okay. I just felt like the passion wasn't there for him. He didn't, and of course, they're not. It's not their business.
Right.
And he's still getting paid. But like I was telling Lisa earlier, the only regret I have truly is not staying open longer.
Mm-hmm.
I give her credit for going to jail. She's my hero for doing what she did.
Wouldn't that be great if they threw you all in jail
Oh,
together?
that would be
That
awesome.
would have been wonderful.
Yeah.
They never would have done that. All right, so you had a little bit different fate. You end up in jail.
Yeah.
I think I know why that ended up happening, but so from the moment you opened up, you get the phone call. At some point, they start pursuing you. So talk about that.
Yeah, they started pursuing me. I don't know, was it the next day? Yeah, they had a cease and desist on the door. I think it was the next day or maybe 2 days after. And then they started throwing every legal, thing that they could
And
at
who's
us.
they at this point?
The state,
Okay.
the Attorney General's office.
Yeah, because it changes over time.
Keith.
Yeah, but it eventually becomes local.
It does. Well, yes, it does, because if I understand correctly, with a criminal case, so the state cannot charge an individual criminally without going through city or county attorney. So we don't know. I mean, there's so many things about this whole, these cases that we don't even know. It would have been really nice, to be the fly on the wall or to do a FOIA or whatever and get some further answers.
We could do that. Actually,
we could.
We should do that.
We speculate a lot.
Well, let's talk after the show about what we should do.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm game. So I think it was 5 civil cases against me, my business, which was an LLC, and 2 criminal cases against me.
And what were they saying? And this criminal stuff was right off the bat.
Yeah.
And what were the 2 charges?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We've been going back and trying to remember all of the details, but it was, and Vern's sitting right over there, and he has been my right hand man in all of it. He has been by my side, Jake. I think you know that.
Yeah, I know.
Through all of this.
I always knew when I chat with you on the phone, Vern was listening.
I mean,
so.
actually, I think Vern is probably gets more credit for being the instigator.
No, you're more camera friendly. We're gonna keep you on.
So the charges were, help me out, Vern.
What were they?
I rely on him so much to help me remember these things, but
Total of either 8 or 9 counts.
yeah, it was 9
But the
counts.
criminal,
6 and 3.
criminal were 9 counts.
Criminal,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, you're catching up to Trump here.
Several of them were basically for disobeying the governor's orders.
Yeah, the
Basically
executive order,
breaking
right?
the
But did those
executive order.
so and I guess the microphone's probably not picking them up. So it's the disobeying the governor's orders. What you're saying was that initially
Disorderly conduct.
Disorderly
one
conduct.
well,
Don't
yeah,
forget about the
you're
disorderly
very disorderly.
conduct.
Lisa.
According
Your
to the
conduct's very
prosecuting
disorderly.
attorney.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, Jane's
Martinez, yeah.
conduct's orderly. You were
Right.
very disorderly, so she wasn't getting fined. I mean, that's like the most BS, like anything. It's like, well, what are we going to charge these guys for? We'll throw a disorderly conduct on it. Well, we could prove that in court.
And I understand that is one that's very common that they throw that one in.
Look at this. Look at it. I love it. I love it. A troll. And I bet she's
Yeah.
one of our guys. COVIDian lockdowner. Do that one.
Fauci is the greatest scientist on earth. He will win the Nobel Prize.
Now, I could speculate which one of our people is doing that one. Oh, man. So you get prosecuted by the Albert Lee city attorney. Is that correct?
Yes. Kelly
Okay.
Dawn Martinez.
There you go.
She's no longer city attorney.
What is she? Did she get promoted?
She got moved, what I understand, is she got moved to Rochester as a public defender. She took on
She's a public defender now?
Yes.
Wow,
what I was
what an
told, yeah.
interesting world we live in.
I did check that out too, and I did confirm it. It was very difficult to confirm, but I did confirm that. But yeah, public defender,
Yeah.
Olmsted County. Yeah.
Do you think there's maybe something in her that regrets what she did, and that's why she made
No.
that switch?
No, not
You
at
wouldn't
all.
think someone would go from a prosecutor to public defender
I don't
unless
know
she
how
had
to-
like a
yeah.
change of heart.
I don't know how to explain it. I don't know her personally at all.
Well, luckily we have her on the phone. Go ahead and patch her in, Dawson. Jerry.
That'd be awesome.
We would do that in a heartbeat,
Awesome.
by the way.
How about if you do a show with her and I?
Yeah.
Maybe bring Keith in just to have.
Would you do?
kick for
You would do it,
kicks?
right?
I would do
Okay.
it.
We'll try to set it up.
All right.
Yeah. I don't think Keith Ellison will do it, but I mean, none of them ever do it. We've sent multiple requests to lefties. We send requests to the Republican establishment. They won't come talk to us. It's
Of
just a
course not.
conversation. Have a conversation. What's wrong with? I'll do any of their shows, but they don't want that either.
No.
Yep.
Because all the misinformation. Got to
Right.
guess out that misinformation, right? Dangerous stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so you get criminally charged.
Right.
And you decide to defend yourself, like by yourself, not actually. Is that called per se, or what's the legal term?
Sui juris.
Sui juris. Okay.
Is that the one we used, honey? Yes.
All right.
sui
So
juris?
no attorney.
Yes. No
do it
attorney.
yourself. Courts hate that.
They do hate that.
You didn't know that going into it?
Well, not really.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
You're
know.
right. You're right. You can absolutely do it.
I mean, seriously. So, the joke is in the beginning, we'd say, yeah, we did some research, and I'm sorry, it's so funny now looking back. I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't funny about it, but we did our research and we know what the risks are, and so we're going to go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
And here's what we would say, or here's what we tell people now. Well, the attorneys weren't exactly winning for their clients, right? Their
Right.
clients were paying fines, they were
Yep.
shutting down.
None of them were doing well.
Et cetera, et cetera. I think I'm
But
the only.
maybe the courts were all biased too. That I could blame it on the attorneys, but the courts were terrible.
Yes.
What? Courts are terrible?
Yeah, isn't that shocking?
Oh my gosh. So we figured we could lose all on our own without paying out tens of thousands
Right.
of dollars to an attorney. So that's kind of a joke. But so yeah, we went
Oh
the
no, it wasn't a joke. I mean, think about all the time. Then you
Yeah.
were a full-time legal clerk
Oh my gosh.
or legal intern or whatever. you
Oh
wanna
my
call
goodness,
yourself.
what an education
Yeah.
that was.
Right.
So, which was great. I'm so thankful for it. Really, I'm grateful that I guess I took the positive side, but I'm grateful that we've learned as much as we have, and I don't think we're done. But I have no idea what that means at this point.
I don't either.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
do you know, Lisa?
Yeah. So yes, so we did that. We did the constitutional route, which the courts, they don't really reside in that
Right.
realm anymore. At least not in this state.
Well, and you're defending yourself against Kelly Martinez. Obviously, you've got. Is it Martinez? Right. I said that right.
Martinez, yeah.
Martinez. You also have civil cases, but I want to focus on the criminal one. You end up losing in court by jury,
Yes.
a jury of your peers.
Well,
Right. And you get sentenced to jail.
I did.
Was it 90 days?
90 days.
And you had to serve 60 days of it.
I got out a third early, or 30
For
days
good
early.
behavior?
I behaved
You weren't
in jail.
disorderly in jail?
I was not dangerous and disorderly in jail like I had been apparently on the outside. According to some.
People say it's fake news that you went to jail because you didn't follow the governor's orders. And on a technicality, what was the charge that ended up putting you behind bars?
It was not following the governor's.
Oh, I thought it was like some other technicality. No matter what, it was because the governor issued illegal orders and it ended up putting you in jail.
Correct.
And what was different in your case is all the other cases were civil. This one was the one criminal, which I just have to assume this Kelly Martinez, she's got to be some crazy left-winger Democrat. I don't even know why I'm saying left-winger. What does this even mean anymore? The left wing used to be against authority. It's just a bizarre thing. It's funny how the modern Democrat Party is all authoritarians now, to a T. And parts of the right, too. Obviously, you know this.
Obviously, yeah. It's very clear. Yeah, no, she had a vengeance. I knew nothing of her. All of a sudden, here she is on the scene. She had a vengeance for me. She was not a well-liked attorney. I'm just sorry. I'm going to say it. Talked to several other people. She was not well-liked in our city. And so I got to experience her firsthand. Very interesting. Completely different than what I thought an attorney would be. Just... Do they go to school? Yeah. I know they do. But I was told by, and I don't want to be demeaning of anybody here, but I mean, the facts are the facts. Oh, that's right. This is Jake's show.
Yes. Yes.
Coached by the judge.
She was coached by the
Oh
judge.
my gosh. What is that? Isn't there something about the judges are not allowed to practice law from the bench? Or?
Well, yeah, but if you hired an attorney, they might have objected to that.
Yeah, they might not have, but no, they were helping
That's
her
what you need to do.
along.
You need to object to everything that's going on.
Actually, we had to help her too because she made so many mistakes throughout. So we had to correct her mistakes in the. It's all on the court documents. It's on the record. But yeah, anyway, so we don't need to stay there. She prosecuted, and the jury of 6 found me guilty because incredible. We did not see this coming, not completely. So we're doing the pretrial stuff in court, and she brings a motion up, and she does not want to allow me to speak of my defense in front of the jury, right? And so that meant I could not speak of constitutional law, statutory, or case law in front of the jury members. That was my defense. That was 100% my defense.
Right.
I mean, and it went pretty deep, but I did get into a lot of constitutional statutory law, and we did use some case law. We used everything.
Yeah.
And
were the instructions that the jury wasn't supposed to use that in their decision making?
So that's right. They didn't want them to be influenced by me actually giving them facts.
Right.
Law, the rule of law.
Well, it's just it's so interesting to me that the Minnesota Constitution would say, which should be the supreme law of the land, that one branch of government can't take over the powers of another branch of government. So you can't just write a new law that overturns the Constitution. In fact, the Constitution is only overturned or amended by a constitutional ballot issue.
Right.
So the whole reason you're there is you're disobeying an illegal order.
Right.
But you can't use that in your defense.
Right.
That's how rigged the legal justice system is.
The whole thing was rigged, and they knew that from the beginning.
Right.
They knew exactly what was going to happen from the beginning. The judge knew where it was going to go, where he was going to take it. So what the judge told the jury, anytime I started to bring up, well, let me back up just a minute. He threatened in the pretrial, he threatened to hold me in contempt of court if I mentioned law to the jury. And we talked about, are we going to do that? Are we going to use that strategy? Because I could have just, ignored him and spoken to the jury. I could have brought up the law. So anytime I did try to bring up the law, which I did throughout the trial, the judge shut me down really quick and reminded me that I was not to be behaving that way. But also, the more important thing to know and understand here is he would tell the jury, retract what Ms. Hanson just said. I will tell you the law at the end of the trial. He said that over and over again. Because obviously the 6 jury members, basically what he was saying, this is not what I said, and this is not my opinion, but basically he was saying, well, you're idiots, you're too stupid to know what the laws are to be able to understand the simple language of the Constitution.
Right. Do you know what jury nullification is?
Yes.
I wish I was on that jury because I'm a.
I
full
wish you were on that
participant.
jury.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have allowed that somehow.
Because the
though.
jury nullification is, no matter what the instructions are, you still have a vote. And so if you think a law is unjust, in this case, it's not even a law, but if a law is unjust, you just don't abide by it.
Right.
And you vote,
Yeah.
not guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were, that was one. We were also hoping that there'd be one jury member, that would hang the jury, and obviously that didn't happen.
Right.
And even if it had, I really highly question whether the judge would have allowed it. I really think he would have overridden. He intended to send me to jail that very day.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So, we went through the whole process. I think it was a 5 or 6 day trial.
I didn't remember that. He sentenced you that day?
Yes, immediately. So they're reading
Boy, my memory's bad. I thought there was
No,
a
your
week or something.
memory is good. It's so convoluted. There's so many pieces to all of this. And so
Well, I remember, I thought it was I remember I was taking a kid to wrestling or something like that when I found out.
Yeah. So I'm standing there, sitting there, whatever, and he's, they're reading the verdicts on all 9 counts, and then he's getting ready to sentence me, and he asked the prosecuting attorney, "You want to do this today? You want to do this right now?"
Jeez.
And unfortunately, I didn't have the wherewithal at that point. I cannot tell you what this was like going through this for somebody who'd never been. I've never been in trouble with the law.
Are you saying emotionally, or what are you
every
saying?
way, in
here?
every way, yeah,
Well, tell us about
mentally,
it.
emotionally. Oh my gosh.
Try. I think this is what people want to hear. Because you know in your heart you didn't do anything wrong,
Right.
and you have a jury of your supposed
I
peers.
never did anything wrong. I've always
Right.
been the good girl, and I was never a rule breaker.
Well, you do ride a Harley, so
Oh,
you
that's
have
true.
a little bit of an edge, Lisa.
That's true. But
Yeah.
no, I'd always, kind of by the book. And I mean, I guess it depends on whose book you're reading, right? I mean, and the Constitution, in my book or in my world, the Constitution usurps, these unlawful mandates.
It's a living, breathing document. It's aged. It's no good anymore.
What
was it like?
It was incredible. I don't
judge
even know.
wants to sentence you
People
immediately.
tell me I need to write a book, and I probably just need to at least do a little more journaling than I have. But yeah, it was incredible. Honestly, it stopped our world. My husband was there with me 100% of the time through all.
Is Vern
of
able
this.
to be at the desk with you?
No.
Or you, so
Oh,
you're there
no.
alone because you obviously don't have any counsel.
I'm all alone.
That stinks.
It was incredible.
Vern's sitting still right behiund you, though, Lisa.
My gosh,
I don't think we could go to that courthouse if I remember right. We would have probably been there, wasn't it? Locked down for COVID, or
you could have been there,
We
but you
could have been there?
you couldn't have been recording or anything. You could have been taking
I
notes.
know
but
we couldn't
yeah.
record. They have they banned that
We
stuff.
asked. There were journalists that asked if they could come in with cameras and audio recorders,
Oh,
and
maybe that's why we didn't do it then.
and we they actually asked the prosecuting attorney and myself, do we want that to happen? And of course I said yes. Of course she said no. Of course the judge,
You would think if it's your case, you're the defendant, you should have the ultimate say. That is there's another ridiculous thing.
There's so
okay,
many.
so they read
Yeah.
the verdict,
Yep.
and it's
And
one
so-
count. Is that right?
No,
that was
it's
what you charged.
six counts on
Six
that one. Right?
counts?
Is that right, Vern? 6 counts on that one.
Six counts of not following the governor's orders. Is that right? Guilty on all 6 counts.
Yeah, guilty on all 6. Guilty.
With the maximum,
guilty.
and they're going
guilty.
by the Chapter 12.
Oh, I gotta tell you.
90 days, right?
Yeah, so I got to tell you, it's really sad. One of the jurors, and I really had high hopes for him. He served in the military. He was served in the military.
Doesn't
I
always
know.
mean something.
I mind it, obviously.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean but you would just think, okay, at least maybe there's someone that can, that understands the Constitution,
Governor
because he took
Walz
an
served
oath.
in the military
I know. I know.
30-some years until he disgracefully left.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had his replacement on the 1st Brigade deployment, Sergeant Major
Really?
Barons, on the show. Very, very interesting stuff.
Ooh, I gotta watch that. I didn't see that show.
You don't know about that story?
No.
Yeah, he so Governor Walz in 2006 was part of the Red Bulls that were getting deployed, 1st Brigade. It ended up being the longest deployment in modern day history. 22-month deployment. I know a lot of the people on that. I had just been commissioned as a officer, so lieutenant. I would have been on that deployment had I not had to go to IOBC Infantry Officer Basic Course at Fort Benning, Georgia. I'm sorry if I triggered any of you. It's Fort Moore now because we can't have a Confederate general's name on any basis, so it's no longer Fort Benning. Never going to get used to that one. Although it sucks because General Moore was a great leader, so good person naming after. But he was a battalion sergeant major. So if you think about the enlisted ranks, there's a brigade sergeant major, and under him are the battalion sergeant majors. So Tim Walz was the 2nd tier highest, and he conditionally got promoted to that. He ends up deciding, you know what? I think I can run for Congress and win in Minnesota. So he abandons his troops, resigns as a non-commissioned officer, because at that point he's plus 20 years, so you can resign anytime, to run for Congress. Creates a backlog or a problem because they're about to deploy and they got to fill up a very key position. Hence why Tom Barron's Sergeant Major retired was very vocally against Tim Walz, because he ended up having to fill that position. And what a lack of leadership from that guy.
Wow.
That's Tim Walz. That's who he is.
You know,
Dodged the deployment.
You and I talked a little bit about, I think our oldest son, he was in National Guard as well. And I think he served just shortly after you guys.
Were we on a deployment together?
No. No, you weren't on
What time? He got in after?
He got in after you.
Yeah, I think I was out in 2013.
I think he was like a couple years post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did have that conversation once.
Yeah, Red Bulls, because that's the...
the Red Bulls, yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all in Minnesota.
Yeah.
In fact, their division headquarters just got deployed again, Kuwait now. So I know some people on that. Actually, it's kind of making me old. I know the commanding general. As it goes about with them. So, all right. So, what did they read the verdict?
Oh, yeah.
They say guilty, 6 charges, which, by the way, it's 90 days max. Could they have given consecutive? Could they have done that?
They could have.
Jeez.
I know.
And 90 days is from it's a $1,000 fine, 90 days. Even Governor Walz had an order out there that disobeyed that too. It was like, I think he put, you could be fined up to $5,000 and 120 days. And the people are like, where did he even get that from? Like, he just made that up. But anyhow, the 90 days.
If we had 5 hours, you're pinging so many memories.
Lisa,
in my mind.
we do not have. There is nothing I don't know what your guys' schedule is here. There's nothing getting in the way.
There is something going on tonight.
There is something going on tonight. You know, Joss, as I thought about it, this would have been a great day for us to launch our locals, right? So we're on locals now.
People still can't they?
Yeah.
The link is live.
I put it on the email. Do you have, why don't you put the link in here?
Yeah, give me a second.
But we're not set up technically. We can go on locals, and our subscribers, which I think we're at 1, because we had one person that couldn't even wait for us to launch it, and they're like, I want to be on there. It's your first subscriber.
Yeah.
So our subscribers get like special content. This is the worst businessman right here. I don't even know how the whole thing works yet. I wasn't ready to say it. We could have used this. What, you put the link up there or what?
Well, no, there's actually a really easy way to do this. If you're on Rumble, there's a big orange join button right under the video. You click on that, click support, and then it leads you right to the page. It's super easy. I will put a link too, but just so you know.
There you go. You could become our subscribers. We could have done an after show just for the subscribers on there. Maybe we'll do one. Maybe we'll get a little deeper into it.
We'll need a little bit of time to set that up.
Okay, well, whatever we don't do, because I think I'm doing the panel for you guys tonight, doing the interviews. So whatever we don't cover here, we'll capture again tonight. There you go. Come tonight. The Mermaid in Mounds View. That's right off of Mounds View Boulevard, and it starts at 6:30. Okay, free event, by the way. Totally free. Just come on out there. You got to head back to East Grand Forks tonight, don't you?
Afterwards, yep.
Afterwards.
I'm just curious, how did you get 6 criminal for disorderly conduct?
1 per day that I was open.
Interesting. What's okay? There's no case law on that. Okay, right? Like that's never happened. Who would ever thought that's the interpretation? You get 90 days per day you're open. That they just completely pulled that out of their ass. Clearly.
It was incredible. The whole thing was, and again, it was our first experience with anything like this, and they were giving they were coming at me with everything they possibly could.
Right.
I mean, what we talked about before was, we marketed this thing. I mean, we didn't just stand up; we stood out, and. Remember, we had a peaceful protest, and we called it "Nail It to the Walls."
Mostly peaceful, Lisa.
WALC.
Wasn't that mostly peaceful?
Was there a fight that broke out?
Yeah, you burnt the buildings down in downtown. I'm sorry, that was
because
Minneapolis.
she is
Never mind.
disorderly.
That was BLM in Minneapolis. I got
Yeah,
them
that's
confused.
right.
Yeah,
for a second
I think it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was. It was a peaceful protest where people just came to eat.
Right.
And they also sent in a spy during that peaceful protest as well. I tell you what, they didn't stop. You know, when they went to arrest me, how many dollars did our Attorney General's office spend to come after me?
Let's talk about that for a second.
We're jumping all around
in
here,
Iowa. That's fine. I like it where the conversation's going. In Iowa. Jane, I guess yours was pretty lame after all said and done,
mine was
right?
pretty lame. Yes.
I'm sorry, Jane.
No,
I'm actually very interested.
No,
in
we were
hearing
all
more.
everyone was talking about you for a while there, Lisa, because.
That's why I say she's my hero.
Larvita was the one that was actually supposed to go to jail. Wasn't this the plan?
Yeah, that was the plan.
Or the workhouse
farm,
or work farm, yeah. And then she didn't go, and then they
spooky.
came after me. I think the story that I got from Larvita was because her sheriff would not prosecute.
Right.
Criminal.
Right.
It has to be prosecuted.
Well, you were the only one, and that's so fascinating. So you and Vern are down in Clear Lake, Iowa for a getaway. You know, how dare you guys actually do a getaway? I mean, your business was just taken from you, so like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So you're down in Clear Lake, Iowa.
I'll tell you what we did. We left. So they had like a week to come and arrest us, and they didn't arrest me.
Right.
I mean, and we're working on our case. We are working on the case hours and hours and hours every day, and we're pulling out all the shots. We had a good family friend that was helping us, and he's brilliant, and he did some brilliant work, and this is again all new to us, and so we're learning and just diving in deep to all of this. And you asked me to share a little bit of what it was like. So just a snippet of everything was we're sitting in our dining room, and we know that I could be arrested at any moment. And, everything is so messed up in our country at this point. And there's bad things happening to good people. There always has been, right? But we didn't know if they come and arrest me. Are they going to send me to a work camp? And my husband and my children, my grandchildren will never see me again. And
What's the timeline on this? Are we summer of 2021? What?
No, this is winter of 2021. Is that right, Vern?
Your trial
Vern should have been on the show. He could have told my story better than me.
Yeah, your trial was in December.
Trial's in December, but this is
spring,
winter, spring. Yeah.
Mark Kroll says, "Hey Vern."
Yeah, he's hi.
Hey Vern.
So I guess he is on the show.
Vern has a fan here. What
Come
is
on,
going
Vern. There's room for you.
You're right. The world is all turned upside down.
Yeah,
Vern's got fans, and
yeah,
they're throwing people. What's
my
Brad
gosh.
have to say?
I'll tell you what. I had a great team around me. My husband was one of that team, and I just give all the credit to the Lord for all of this because He was with me through and through.
This was April.
So you have to understand.
Yeah, it was April. I was gonna say.
The rally was May 1st. And so
See, he figured it out. April.
Yeah, so
This happened. Yeah.
that's when she was arrested was in April.
Yeah.
See, this is half the reason I wanted to do
But
this, just to reminisce.
the arrest was a different thing. It was a different subject matter. It was not. I'm not even going to get into all of
I
that.
remember that because it was you apparently were in contempt of court, right?
I did not show up for a trial
Yep,
that I was not
that
summoned
you were not
to.
supposed to do, yeah.
But I wasn't summoned. And
Right, you
so,
weren't summoned.
Criminal Rule 3.0, or 3, if you look up Criminal Rule 3, in there's a very specific way that you are to summons a individual into court. Super simple to read. Everybody go look it up. It's online. The courts didn't follow that.
Right.
And they missed a big piece. In fact, we have documentation where the judge told the prosecuting attorney, very specific, to set this up as a Zoom. What did I just say? And a summons and present a summons. She did set up the Zoom hearing. But a Zoom hearing is not a summons at all, because you have to have your criminal charge attached with that summons, so you know why you're going to court, right?
Yeah.
None of that happened. So we decided, it was a really hard decision. It was one of these things: should we go? Should we not go? Because we knew it was happening, but we didn't receive receive the proper protocol, or proper protocol was not followed. We made the court aware of all of this. We did our due diligence. We were following rule of law through and through. And we talked about it, and we decided, okay, we're following rule of law. They have completely missed procedure here, completely missed it. I talked with our chief of police. I talked with our sheriff at the time and told them what was going on. We were in communication with them. They had been in my coffee shop and sat and had coffee with us on more than one occasion. I had told them, this is why I'm going to have a peaceful protest. I'm going to open up. I let them know, we were in communication with them.
The sheriff's an elected official too. He's the one that could stand up for
Right.
you. I didn't really care for that guy. And maybe we'll get into that tonight. I don't know if we'll get on.
I think that we need to do a series.
Yeah, we kind of do need to do series.
But no, so anyway, all this is going down. The arrest was because I did not show up in court
But you're in Clear Lake. You guys are on a little
we
mini
left.
trip.
We left to go see my
Right.
parents, because my parents are elder. They're in their mid 80s now. At that time, they were 80-ish, and we went down to see them because we hadn't seen them because of COVID for like 2
Right.
years.
In Iowa.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry, no, that's Arkansas.
Oh, in Arkansas. Okay.
Yeah, so my folks are in Arkansas, so we went down there.
Where are
to
they
see
in
them.
Arkansas?
Northwest Arkansas.
No, like what town?
I don't know. Should I say?
No.
I want to protect my parents.
My grandparents ended up going down to Hot Springs Village. That's where they retired.
It's a beautiful place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I have,
my parents have lived
no
there for-
history in Arkansas because it's kind of got stigma,
Yeah, kind
But
of.
that's where they retired. My
Yeah.
grandpa was living it up. 9 golf courses inside the village. Very nice.
Good for him.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
Very
We
much.
were just down there again recently. So anyway, we did this trip. We said, let's get away. We got lots of work to do here, lots of legal work to do. Let's get away so we don't have to sit at our house waiting for them to pull in to arrest me. They had their opportunity, and there was no reason, according to law, that I could not leave the state.
Right.
It was a misdemeanor. So we said, we need to go see my folks.
Yeah,
And
that's a
so
good.
we did.
That's
So
actually a
we're-
great point. This is a misdemeanor charge.
Yeah.
Like, basically, what would have happened
Traffic
to
ticket,
Bridget
basic.
if she got a traffic ticket today?
Traffic
Yeah.
ticket, yeah. We're glad you didn't get a traffic ticket.
Well,
Yeah, me too.
luckily, we don't have traffic cams here. I did see that chopper, the state patrol chopper overhead. With a radar gun.
Gosh.
Yeah, so we were on our way back, and we were coming back for that rally on May 1st. Was that a May 1st rally where I was going to speak, and Dr. Jensen was there, and other people were supposed to be there that weren't there, that
Yeah.
bailed, but we won't mention those names. Anyway, we had a lot of...
Moore and I were there. That's all you needed.
You
right?
guys were there. We love you
We
guys.
brought it, didn't we?
You
We
did.
brought it.
We love you guys.
I probably announced how your legislators weren't there.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thing. I'd go to these rallies and I would say, "Where's your legislator?" And I did that in Little Falls, and their legislator got up my face and tried picking a fight with me. And then he backed down and said, "I don't have time for you guys," right in front of all his constituents. It was not good.
Not good.
Ron
Not-
Krisha.
What? Who was that?
Ron Krisha wouldn't sign the Never Again pledge, wouldn't sign the Stop Vaccine Mandates pledge. Shows up to a rally, Health Freedom rally. We see him there, like, "Ron, you're in front of your constituents. There's like hundreds of people here. Will you sign the pledge?" And he just goes out, "You guys are fraud, blah, blah, blah." And so I called him out in front of everyone, and then there's a video. I think Alpha News had it where he comes up to me, is acting all tough, and tries picking a fight. It's pretty funny. So anyhow, you went to the rally, but this happened in April. You're in Clear Lake,
We're in Clear
Iowa.
Lake. We're hanging out. We
On
found
a
this-
misdemeanor charge,
Yep.
which really shouldn't have been a charge at all.
Right.
And you get arrested, which means they coordinated state to state.
So they did. Yeah. What they put out what is that called when
APB, is that what they call it?
Yeah, but you bring. Yeah. What is that called?
Come on, Vern, help us out.
I think honestly, I think we've tried to forget a lot of this.
Normally, misdemeanor charges like that, they do not go across state lines.
They don't go. Well, of course they don't go across state line. Just think about the resources involved in doing that. To hunt down
dollars.
someone who what? What was your big sin? You serve coffee to people.
To a willing customer.
To
yeah.
willing. By the way,
That's so
It's
dangerous.
never been lost on me here.
Extradition.
Why?
Extradition. That's
Yeah.
what it was called.
Ellison signed extradition orders for
The surrounding
Hanson,
states.
Iowa, and South
Do you have that order?
Yeah.
I want
would've-
that. We need to frame
Did
that
we
copy.
did we get a copy of that?
I wonder if it's
we would
avail-
have to be able to get that.
We have to get that, and we have to frame that. That is too precious, and just a misuse of funds. This is not lost to me. Okay, during this whole thing, who is the real people not following the orders?
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It was us.
Right.
It was us that frequent your business, the patrons.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that, maybe, just maybe, Eric Mortensen, Jake Duesenberg, who drove across the state to disobey the orders, should be targets number one. Now, they don't come after us because they know we got a loud voice, and would, in fact, that's probably one of their miscalculations is you guys start getting a loud voice because there's a big community we had started. But it's like, you guys did nothing but just opened up. If you opened up and no one came, no foul was committed, right?
That was-
it's the coming there that was the foul, according to them, by the way. I wouldn't say foul. And that required the people who were like us that were disobeying it.
Right.
But they never came after us.
Well, no, because they can't take the liquor license away from them. They
That's
can't take a
right.
restaurant license away from them,
You know what?
Good point, Jane.
Maybe they should have sent out something to all the liquor stores. Do not serve this guy.
Yeah.
They could take away my liquor license. That's what they could have done.
So I'm curious, Jane, did they ask for a list of your customers that came in on those days that you were open when you
No.
weren't supposed to be?
No.
They did. Did
They
you
did
know?
do that? No, I didn't know
Absolutely.
that. Really?
Absolutely. And I
Wow.
said,
Pound
no,
sand.
I
Go
don't
pound
think so.
sand on that
No,
one.
I don't think so.
Wow. Yeah, remember, I totally forgot about that.
They had that where you were supposed to sign.
You
your
were,
customers in and out.
yes, you were
Right.
supposed to
they
provide
could
phone numbers. Well, I saw Brad
Yeah,
Ganser
people
wrote
commented
somewhere.
on
Where,
there.
what did he write?
Oh, I'd have to find it. He said, I know basically he said that he'd always sign his name as Tim Walz.
By the way, you see how Brad's saying Ron Krisha incident is why Jake started lifting weights again? First of all, Brad, I never stopped lifting weights. And Brad was here at headquarters on Thursday. And I said, when were we having that weightlifting competition? The guy backed down. There you go.
Really?
Yeah, he backed down, Dawson.
Dang, I was gonna ask him if he wanted to lift against me next.
There you go. I don't know, Brad. I don't know. A lot of fake news coming in your direction. Do you guys know? Oh, you know Brad. Didn't Brad come? No, Brad did. Oh, no, Dave Hughes did that. I was going to say
Dave
Brad.
Hughes, yeah.
Brad went. No, wait. Brad came. Oh, he did Larvita. Yeah, Brad. So we had. Obviously, we can't be all places all the time. And this is just how great the community is because I've known Brad for many years. That's why we give each other shit. We like to do live streams at these opened up businesses. So I remember Dave Hughes
Dave
did one at
Hughes, yep.
yours.
Yep.
And Brad was our field reporter for Larvita's place because I think he just happened to be on like some kind of vacation or work trip or something, and he was just in the area. I was like, dude, yeah, can you live stream it? Which is great. Okay, so they arrest you
great.
in Clear Lake,
Clear
Iowa.
Lake, yes. So, they said that I was not a fugitive, but on the lam. That's what it was.
On the lam.
And I said, how can you be on the lam when you've not broken any laws? Or So anyway, yeah, they arrested me. So we were out and about. We were in restaurants. We were shopping. We were on the beach, on the lake there. It's a beautiful community.
Yes,
I know you agree with that.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful community.
Real estate is way too high, though. So
Is it getting really pricey?
it's really bad.
Is that all the
I mean, it's very
Minnesotans that are
high.
fleeing now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's where they arrested me. That's where the arrest occurred, and then
And they just basically quickly got fingerprints and they didn't even get a mugshot, did they?
I think that they got a mugshot.
What did you do
there.
for your mugshot? Do I not remember this picture? You didn't have Trump showing you what to do yet. Because
What did he
that
do for a mugshot?
Well, Trump's mugshot was genius, right? I mean, you can't tell me for a
that
second.
scowl on his face.
Yeah, you can't tell me for a second Trump
Yeah.
and his team didn't go over what that was going to look like for hours upon hours. But actually, in Trump's case, he's pretty smart off the cuff that he could have figured that out.
Yeah.
But it couldn't have made a more perfect one because you can't be all smiley. Like that's what happens when Dan Wolgamott, legislator from St. Cloud, chugs a bottle of vodka in the liquor store parking lot and gets behind the wheel and gets pulled over for a Dewey. He just smiles. That doesn't look good. Seems like you don't really take it serious. You can't just be mad because you're a candidate. That's not going to look good. So what does Trump do? He's got this like he's positioned where he's ready to fight with a serious face, not mad but not happy. It was like perfect to the point where the left was starting to use the mugshot, thinking this was going to be the trend. And I think it was within 24 hours, Trump already had shirts made.
Of course.
I'm not even the biggest Trump fan. That's why we got MAGA Jesse on this show. But it's just too funny. Like the people that can't, the Trump derangements room, they can't get over how much they hate Trump. It's like, sit back and enjoy the show.
Exactly.
The alternative is Joe Biden, and you got to be insane. I was reading this newsletter this morning, and they had, this is the funniest crap ever. It was, historians came and agreed upon the presidents. They ranked them where they are in history.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull this up because I sent to Dave Benner, my buddy, who says this is your morning entertainment. An annual survey of over 150 historians ranking U.S. presidents put Joe Biden at number 14 and Donald Trump dead last. While opinions on Biden vary significantly by respondents' party affiliation, historians across the political spectrum place Trump in the bottom 5. So when you look at the list, it's like, let me just pull this up real quick here. I was going to make this part of the show, but so Lincoln's number 1, FDR was number 2, Washington 3, Teddy Roosevelt 4, and Thomas Jefferson 5. Okay, Obama's 7. He's above Eisenhower. Clinton's number 12. Biden is number 14. Biden is 2 places ahead of Ronald Reagan. He's ahead of John Quincy Adams. Carter's number 22 on this list. You go all the way to the bottom, and I'm reading like 40 to 45. Nixon is 35. Calvin Coolidge, who I'd argue was a good president, 34. The last 5, Harrison, Pierce, Johnson, Buchanan, and Trump. Yeah. If you get past 150 crazy historians, most people place Joe Biden really, really low, unless the president's. It's insane to try to spin that guy's doing a good job. He is literally ruining this country. I couldn't imagine it could go this bad this quick.
Yeah.
Why did I go on that tangent? I'm doing a show on COVID, and see how good of a host am I? I don't even remember my spot.
Brad says show prep, question mark.
None.
See this guy?
Gotta
Watch out
Literally
for
no
this.
show
You know what he does? He's so smart. He does a $20 Rumble rant off the bat to neutralize how much I could really attack him. Because it's like, oh, well, geez, Jake's just attacking his supporters, you know? Brad, to his credit, does come in and fill in as a guest host when I need him, when we're in a pinch.
I mean, it's all related, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it
we
really
know
is.
that Biden is not pulling all the strings, and we know that
which is
he.
scary.
I believe anyway. That's my opinion. He's being told what to do. He's just the face, and isn't that what we experienced through COVID? I mean, do you think Walz and Ellison actually pulled this off? No.
Do you know about Walz's resolution in U.S. Congress praising Klaus Schwab and the WF?
Ooh, I don't think I've
You
heard
know about that?
yet. No.
Yeah. We broke that story a year ago. There's a resolution he was a co-author on in 2010 or 11, and it's praising the great works of the WEF and Klaus Schwab. It's like, what?
Interesting.
Yeah. Paul Ryan, by the way, also an author on that one.
Really?
You guys have seen the video of the Easter Bunny with Joe Biden. My audience knows I say this all the time. Have you seen this, Lisa?
Easter Bunny. Yes. Yes.
Where the Easter Bunny redirects him. Like anyone that thinks Biden is pulling the strings, just watch that video.
So, I mean, it all interrelates, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing with it's an agenda.
It is an agenda. So
and it's
let's go back to that court day.
Yeah.
And you hear that you are guilty on all 6 charges
Yeah.
of disobeying the governor's orders, which, by the way, how do you argue that? Yes. Gladly disobeying that guy, right?
That's true.
So, and then the prosecutor wants to immediately sentence you. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yep.
that
So
moment like?
they go forward
Because you think you're did you think you were going to win the case that day?
No.
Okay, so you thought you were going to lose. You thought then you were going to come back a week later.
I had some sort of hope that, who knows, maybe, even though I can't present my defense, I mean, honestly, logistically.
But even if you lost, you didn't think you were immediately getting...
No, because, how often does that happen?
Like never. That's like what happens
Misdemeanor.
in murder.
Let's remember, this is like a traffic ticket,
Right.
misdemeanor. So, no, that doesn't happen. And again, I mean, could I have been more prepared for some... Yeah, I guess. But I mean, this is the first time in our lives that we've ever done anything like this. And
Wouldn't it have been great if you'd came in with an overnight bag already?
that would have been great.
Did you have a bag ready to go?
I love that. No, we knew that, things could really go quickly. And I don't know, you're just living in this place where you are fighting for the freedom that every American has a right to, and you're doing everything you can, and your world is turned upside down, and you're exhausted, and whatever. I'll write a book about it someday, maybe. But so it's really, I still have this picture in my mind of what happened. I still can see this because, so I'm sitting there at the table in the front of the courtroom, and the judge is. We can't forget this part. He berates me for about, would you say it was about 20 minutes, I think is what we figured.
Really?
15 to 20 minutes. He goes into berating me. And it's really...
Putting like a guilt trip on you for hurting grandmas
for sure,
all over the place?
all of that.
Meaning like he's very bought into the official COVID narrative?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yes. So I have this picture of him still in my head because he's bald. I think he's mostly bald. Maybe he's completely bald. And he gets forward, he leans forward, from his plateau.
Maybe that's why he disliked you, because Vern's got that long, flowing hair. He's like, I hate these people. It's not fair.
Yeah. He leans forward and he gets all red. The top of his head, his face, everything gets red, and he just tears into me because I'm such an evil person. And dangerous. And so then they go into this, he's let's do it right now. Let's sentence. And the prosecuting attorney gives her suggestion for sentencing. I think it was 10 days total. Mm-hmm. And then he comes to me, and I wish I would have been better prepared for that as well. I'm not proud of, I wish I would have said, again, 2020, but I wish I would have said, Judge, you're going to do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. You had this thing figured out from before we even started all this. Just go ahead and get it over with.
Yeah,
I wish I would have.
Yeah, they wouldn't like that talk, but it's frank talk.
They wouldn't like that.
In the end of the day, it didn't matter.
They didn't like any of my talk. I mean, we called them on violations and everything in the court, in the documents, and also on the record. During court, we called them on so many things, and they did not like me at all.
So Kelly Martinez asked for 10 days total or 10 days per count?
10 days total.
So she just wanted to...
And like $1,000 fine.
Yeah.
This is so hilarious. It's very clear in the penalty. It's one or the other, not both. Did you know that?
I think you are right.
Not that you would know it.
Yeah,
why would you know it? But
we had read every order and report on it. I always remember the line.
Yeah,
$1,000
it was one or the other.
$90
It was
days
one
in
or the
jail.
other.
Yeah, I'm not
and
remembering
both the prosecuting attorney and the judge, I guess it went over their heads that it was one or the other. What kind of people do we have working in our justice system today?
Yeah.
So anyway,
do you want me to answer that question?
No, you sure can if you want.
Oh boy, we'll save that for tonight at the Mermaid.
Okay. 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
So let's do this. We'll finish on the sentencing, then we'll get into the jail part, letters and stuff like that tonight.
Okay.
So we'll leave a lot left. And I'm sorry to the audience, I can't make it tonight. I think we'll have you back. I think both of you, maybe this should be an annual occurrence. Because it really needs to change. That's part of the reason we're doing this is we got to get through the Never Again bill, and we'll make that part of the discussion tonight too. How the Never Again bill solves this thing. They'll never get to do this to you again.
Right.
But they end up, she asked for 10 days. The judge just says, I'm going to throw the book at you. How does that go?
Yeah, I remember what he said. He said, I don't think either one of you are going to like this. He said that to the prosecutor and myself. Then he threw the book at me. He said 90 days and a $1,000 fine. We got the $1,000 back later. They couldn't give me the jail sentence back because I had already served it.
Yeah.
So we called them on their mistake, and they said, well, since you've already served time, we're going to return your money.
Oh, you should have said, no, keep the money. Enumerate me for the 60 days I served.
Exactly.
What would that be?
Exactly.
False prosecution?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. God, there might be something there.
There could be a lot of things there, actually.
Shoot, that one you should have probably hired counsel on.
Yeah.
We could have got them on that. Okay.
Anyway, so I know what's going down because off to my right, I see this very large sheriff's deputy, come through the side door. And then off, I can kind of see from behind me, I can't remember if it was one or two. I see one or two, and they're all so huge. And I mean, they're big guys, you know, they're tall and they're big guys.
They need that for, really bad criminals with disorderly conduct in their nature.
So they knew, I mean, the judge had already prepped all this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there was one that came over from the left too. Anyway, so I don't know. I think they're all big teddy bears they were all very kind to me.
I know, but at some point you have to question. In my opinion, a guy's got to start questioning the orders he's following. I could never do something like that.
Yeah.
You can't just say, I'm a cop, I'm just doing my job.
Right.
Now, in the military, we can't just, when you're following an illegal order, you can't just say, I'm following orders. You can still be prosecuted under Uniform Code of Military Justice. We need those people standing up for the Constitution saying, I can't do this. It's not allowed.
Exactly.
And then once again, just like all the businesses refusing to follow orders, if we did this as a society, cops, law enforcement, military, things would change overnight.
Right.
It's too many, as they call them, good Nazis that go along with the orders, right?
Yeah.
Nazi Germany never would happen if people didn't just follow orders. The gulags would not have happened if people didn't just follow orders.
That's right.
And you don't actually need a majority. I've heard the magic number's 17%. I don't know the research and science behind it, but a certain faction of the population refusing to comply ends everything. So they put you in cuffs. Do they do that?
No, not walking out.
Okay.
Actually, they even let me kiss my husband goodbye.
Now I almost want to get you on mic. Okay, we're gonna save that for the night. Vern, I know you're a shy guy, but we might bring you up for that.
I'm just saying that. Yeah, not really.
Might get that element, and then
they let
take
me
you away.
Yeah, they take me away,
and you miss Christmas.
Yep.
Birth of a granddaughter. Yep.
Which I was supposed to attend that birth to help, and our 40th wedding anniversary. Right? It was the 40th. Yes, it was, because 39th.
Isn't it interesting that Vern knows all the legal stuff and everything? And
I know. I rely on him so much to keep me straight. So 39th wedding anniversary, and then just other stuff, just family events and whatnot. Yeah.
Wow. All right, we're gonna tell the rest of that story, and then Jane, we're gonna find out what led to you closing the doors for good at the Boardwalk Bar and Grill.
Yep.
Which is such a cool place,
It really
and I only
is.
seen it in the winter.
Yeah, it really is. It's beautiful. And I miss it.
Yeah. You want to second guess
And
that
I miss
decision?
my family, the guests that came in. And But you have to make a decision.
Well, we'll get into why that decision came about. So there you go. Tonight, come to the event at the Mermaid. See, I didn't even plan on doing this, but isn't this perfect? Now I've given them some reason they got to come. There you go.
To hear the rest of the
Great
story.
promotion.
Yeah.
There you go. Great. And I don't think we only have 30 minutes. There's no way we're doing this in 30 minutes tonight. There's no way.
No.
And I'm an idiot, because Lisa's like, not you, Lisa Rexigler's like, well, how much should we put for their time? I'm like, 30 minutes. Yeah, Jake, what the hell were you thinking? 30 minutes for these two? I could literally go another couple hours.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, it was.
Man.
I mean, we've been living it for
Yeah.
3 years still. I mean, you
Yeah.
still live it.
Well, Jane, I think
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I've learned from you, and I've asked you this more than one time, but I think it was even one of our last conversations, would you have done it again?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't even
It's-
hesitate.
Yeah. Oh, and again, my biggest regret is that we didn't fight and kept going forward. And you know the outcome.
Yeah.
You know, you knew what the outcome would be, but to just stand up even longer because so many people. One thing I did want to mention is that the night we first opened, my state rep was right across the street and would not come in.
Was that
Deb Keel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And your state senator is Mark Johnson,
Lives in East Grand Forks.
and
yes.
never did anything for you.
Yeah,
either.
I called them all. I called Fishbach. I called Keel.
By the
I
way-
called Johnson.
Mark Johnson is the most senior, or the minority leader of the Republicans in the Senate. He's the top Republican.
Yep.
Wouldn't move a finger for you.
Yep. Nope. He said, I can't really deal with, that isn't something I deal with.
Exactly. That's
That's
what
what
they
he
say.
said.
That's what they
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, Dornick.
We get that too.
Yours
You're
was interesting, Lisa, and we'll get into this tonight too in the 30 minutes.
Sure
That's
we
totally
will.
not happening because I totally forgot about this. You end up running for state senate, and your state representative Peggy Bennett says she's not even going to come speak on your behalf. Your state senator Gene Dornick wouldn't do it either, and both of them you considered lifelong friends, like 30 years.
Yeah.
And then you get redistricted in 2022. You decide to run for Minnesota Senate, and Gene carpetbags into the district that you're in. It's an open seat. There's no legislator in that district. He buys a house or owned a house and decides he's going to move to that house all of a sudden just so he could run in the district. And then the whole establishment, they spent over $100,000 to try to defeat you. Jeez. The scum that are up in the Capitol. All right, we're going to get into that and what you can do about it. We got Eric Mortensen speaking tonight, the new President Action for Liberty. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yes, very cool.
I was
Love
like,
it.
because you see the studio, and I got a lot of stuff we're trying to work on, and I'm like, I can't be doing Action for Liberty. It's too time consuming.
No, he's.
Who the hell wants my job? And we kind of approached it with Mortensen, because I tell you, there's a lot of parts of this job not fun. And he's like, yeah, I really would consider doing
that's
it. I
great.
was like, sweet. So we got a good
Good
one.
guy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
He's doing a
very
good job.
exciting. Yeah.
So Mark Bashofsky can't be there, but he's got a video about the corruption in GOP. And then Senator Nathan Wiesenberg, who knows a lot about the corruption in GOP and seen what's going down in the Capitol. And I think he's going to be the author of the Never Again bill for this session, too.
Great.
So it looks like that'll be
Good.
dropping soon. So we got a good program. 6:30 at the Mermaid in Mounds View. That's at 2200 Mounds View Boulevard. That's right off of County Highway 10 and what is that? 35W. So there you go. And they're going to be speaking. I'll be speaking. Bridget, are you going to be there tonight?
I don't think so.
Bridget's not going to be there. Tucker, so you can stay home. She's got a really super fan on the.
Tucker's a fan of the show in general.
Yeah, I think if we
And
lost
Jesse,
you.
those two like talk all the time.
That's
so.
true. But I think if we lost you, Bridget, we'd probably lose Tucker. So
I
you got to
think
stay
so.
on. Thank you guys for comments, the Rumble rants, everything for people that are following the show. We couldn't do it without you. We wouldn't do it without you, honest to God. Otherwise, we're just staring at cameras and talking to cameras. No one's watching that. We would need to get our head checked if we did something like that. And yet there are so many people that do that. What? I wasn't saying you, Dawson. You do have people that watch your. He's a game streamer, like he plays video games.
You
and
say that like you come in and watch my streams.
I'm gonna start doing that now.
You
It's on
better
YouTube.
Not. You're not gonna care. You're not gonna enjoy it.
I really won't, but just to even things out, because you're always pushing back on us, I'm gonna push back on you.
You can
Be
come
like,
in and tell me.
oh,
my
I wouldn't have
things.
pressed AB on that one. You went left. I would have gone right. I don't even know what you stream. What are you streaming? Like
So
first-person
old.
shooters or what?
Yeah, Overwatch 2.
Oh
awesome.
yeah, then I totally would be like, oh, I would have grabbed the sniper rifle there,
Oh, you gotta look.
or I should say, I'd play something fun like Zelda.
Zelda's a good game.
There you go.
That is.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you tonight at the Mermaid. Take care, and we'll be back here at Truth Hurts Studio on Thursday. Take care.